Please join me for a moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated. All right, first item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda, and I would move that.
Second.
Motion by Nelson, seconded by Dietrich. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Passes 4-0. Items 2 through 5 constitute a consent agenda of routine action items to be considered by one motion. Items pass unanimously unless a separate vote is requested by a board member. Item 2 is approval of the minutes of the February 17th, 2026 meeting. Also, the approval of the minutes of the February 12th, 2026 Farm Bureau meeting. Sorry, I was just kind of caught off over this. Item 3, approval of the claims. Item 4 for Board Administration, Karen James, is approval of lifting the tax suspension for initials SB. Item 5 from Human Resources, Melissa Thomas. Item A is approval of a memorandum of personnel transactions, and I believe we need to add one more.
There has been a change, so I'll just need to enter a new memorandum into the record.
I move to receive.
Second.
Motion by Nelson, seconded by Dietrich. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Passes 4-0. Item B is to initiate the hiring process. Then item C is approve the wage reopener agreement from the Communication Workers of America, AFL-CIO, Civilian Officers, CWA 7177.
I'll move to approve the consent.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Motion by Dietrich, seconded by Carper. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Passes 4-0. Item 6 from the County Compensation Board, Dan Lynn, is to receive the Compensation Board compensation schedule. Dan, take it away.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon. You should all have copies of this. We did meet at 5:30 p.m. on February 12th, 2026 to discuss the schedule. We did decide, based upon Iowa code, to look at everything from the updated salary survey report from the ISAC, also looked at different things such as cost of living adjustments by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the Social Security Administration, and research each individually for each area, including the treasurer, auditor, sheriff, county attorney, and supervisors. Based upon that discussion, we did find that the treasurer, we recommended a 4.5% increase, the auditor, a 4.5% increase, sheriff, 7% increase, county attorney, 6.5% increase, and then supervisors, 4% increase, plus a $7,000 stipend for the chairperson. I've worked with quite a few of you guys in the past, and also many chair people, and I know that the chairs do have a lot of extracurricular activities. Has to be at all the meetings and everything like that. Currently, it's at $3,500. The last fiscal year, it did go down from $7,000 to $3,500, and we're simply recommending that it go back up to $7,000. Just a note on the supervisor too, the population of Woodbury County is presently ranks at 7th in terms of population, and the Board of Supervisors ranks 41st in pay for the state of Iowa. Any questions on anything in the sheet that I provided, sir?
Dan, if you would just talk about the process that you, and I know you were just there on the behalf of the Board of Supervisors, and there were other volunteers
Yeah.
on behalf of other elected officials, but just for the good of the public, if you would just share what each of you do, and then, you know, the compensation hearing is open to the public, so people could come and sit and listen to that. But if you would just kind of walk through the work that you guys do in preparation for that and how you arrive at some of this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll definitely speak to myself for a few of it, but I will tell you the team came very prepared. As you can see, all the different documentation, taking a look at everything from Iowa Code 331.907, we do have to look at all kinds of different considerations. So personally, I did look at private sector and looking at people from an executive level of what people are making from like a management team, taking a look at the police chief looking at other sheriffs throughout the state of Iowa when it comes to sheriff. Definitely the work that the treasurer does, looking at different treasurers, looking at what a CFO would be paid in a private sector, so ensuring that. From an auditor perspective, looking at all the other groups of the auditor, but then also looking at other states. So looking at Nebraska and South Dakota as well, because those are the two states that are close to us. The Back the Blue law is really important when it comes to the sheriff, and I know the state attorney, Brenna Bird, did put together an opinion in regards to that, because there were some compensation boards that were not looking necessarily at everybody from a police chief to other comparable sheriffs that were part of all the counties in the state of Iowa. So that is something that we also abided by. And then just looking at the different rankings, not only the population rank, but the work that's put in by everybody. We know that our elected officials definitely work hard, but taking into all that different research, looking at the private sector, looking at the comparable public sector things, everybody did a really good job. The whole entire team of the compensation board really did their research, and we took it very seriously.
Any questions for Dan? And I would just add too that, the sheriff obviously, because of the Back the Blue law, that whatever the compensation board recommends for a wage increase by law, we have to give that. But as far as the other elected officials, it is still up to this body to be determined at a later date. And so I've already had some people say, oh, well, I see the comp board, recommended this, so that's what your guys' raises are. Well, no, that's not the case. It's merely a recommendation, and that's something that has to be voted on by us. But thank you for volunteering for yet another year of service. Dan, how long have you been doing this?
This is my third year.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, thank you for
Yeah, absolutely.
continuing to volunteer for this. Appreciate it.
I definitely
And
appreciate it.
to the other ones as
It's
well.
a good experience to be able to do it, and I know that the folks that are involved in it, we have everybody from, business people to attorneys and, everything in between, and it's good to be able to do this research and make sure we give you as much information as possible so that you can make an informed decision.
Well, other questions? Thank you, Dan.
Thank you
Appreciate
very
it.
much. Have a good evening.
All right, so we need to move to, I guess I'll move to receive.
Second.
Motion by Nelson, seconded by Dietrich. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes 4-0. Well, look at that, Ryan. We're right at our 4:40 set time. That was just perfect. Dan, you did great. Thank you. Yeah.
I was trying to make Dan stay for after all this public hearing. He was super excited about that, but look at him. He's already running up the stairs.
Well, you forget who makes the agenda, Ryan, so. From item 7 from Board Administration, Ryan Erickson, is the Grow Woodbury County Urban Renewal Plan. It's a 4:40 set time. Item A is a public hearing on the proposed 2026 amendment to the Grow Woodbury County Urban Renewal Plan. And so I guess we're not quite at 4:40, are we? You're close enough. So I guess with that though, since it's about 4:40, that I would now open the public hearing for anyone who wants to speak for or against this proposed amendment.
I'll just say, as soon as you said amendment, it changed to 440, so spot on.
Perfect, yep. I try to run a very efficient meeting here, Matthew.
Seeing no one coming forward, I'll move to closed.
Second, motion by Dietrich, seconded by Nelson. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes 4-0. Item B is approval of resolution determining an area of the county to be an economic development area and that the rehabilitation, conservation, redevelopment, development, or combination thereof of such area is necessary in the interest of the public health, safety, or welfare of the residents of the county, designating such an area as appropriate for urban renewal projects and adopting the 2026 amendment to the Grow Woodbury County Urban Renewal Plan. and I would move that.
Second.
Motion by Nelson, second by Carper. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Pass 4-0. All right, I took credit for being on time, but now we're 5 minutes ahead of schedule, so. So we will jump down to item 9. We're still with Ryan Erickson though, so I haven't left him behind. We're gonna jump into a budget review discussion, and we can just start with item A, which is the wage plan adjustments.
Without my agenda items, it'd be a very short meeting tonight, but just for your information, for the max levy purposes, the compensation board committee recommendations were inputted into the budget. So they are in the levels as they recommended.
So what the comp board recommended 2 weeks ago has now been plugged into the budget?
Yes.
Okay.
And so that when we do reach that point, I just wanted
Okay.
to.
Thank you.
But the wage plan is the other non-union individuals, and right now it's in the budget at 2%. And just bringing it up for your review and approval.
I believe is that what we did last year? I guess that'd be a question for you, Matthew. Was it 2%?
We plugged in 3
Okay.
in previous years. I'm not sure if last year it was 2.
Last year it was 3,
Oh, okay.
but this year the discussion was we would start at 2, and it's easier to go up from there, and then rather than to start at 3 and then discuss going down.
Sure. What is the mix? I see that we have, what is there, 80 wage plan? Where's that at? Yeah. What is the mix as far as like general basic, general sup, rural basic? And if you don't have that, that's fine.
Yeah, I don't have it exactly. The only thing, when you see on the sheet, you know, if it starts as a 0002, that is general sup. 0001 is general basic. So most of them are going to be general basic.
And that's the fund that we have the most issues with currently, or that we're the most negative. Well, we can't, and we're capped, you know,
Yeah,
so
the
that's.
general sup currently,
Is more negative, but we have options.
yeah, on the max levy, you could make it, and that's what the max levy will show is general sup at 0 or net 0.
Any questions for Ryan?
In your motion, in the past, we actually put the percent in the motion, so it's easier to track down in the future.
Okay. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate that. Any other questions?
What is current CPI?
I believe, not to cut Ryan off, but I believe they said at the compensation board meeting that was 2.91. Or that was like the social security inflation was 2.91, Matthew.
Just a question, so even if we receive it as 2% tonight, we can still go up, or would we have to go up and then come down? If we,
Procedurally, we could go up, but technically, I'm not sure we could because of the mailing that has to go out.
Or we'd have to cut something else
Yes,
to make that
yeah.
difference, yeah.
Your
Yeah.
mailing is gonna set the maximum tax dollars that you're requesting, so if you do go up, then you would just be under the kind of criteria that it would be coming out of reserves if it's past the tax mailing.
You also have the constraint of whatever you publish for the public hearing, because after what you publish for the public hearing, you can't go up, you can only come down.
Yep,
Okay.
yeah.
Is that, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the tax dollars that's in the publication.
Right.
So if they do go up, it would basically come out of reserves because the tax dollars and the levy would remain the same as the publication or lower.
Well, when you publish, there's more than just the overall tax dollar amount, isn't there, Ryan?
I think you're talking about the House File 718 mailer that has the levy and the dollar amount, the date of the public hearing for the budget.
But you also have to publish the proposed budget for the hearing itself. I mean, I don't have it in front of me as far as how the granularity of that number. but-
Okay, for the publication versus, I see what you're saying, the publication versus the tax mailing.
Right.
Well, let's go back, we'll go back to item 8 since it's past 4:45, and then we'll come back and we'll continue this discussion. So, item 8 from Board Administration Ryan Erickson is not to exceed $640,000 in general obligation capital loan notes. Item A is a public hearing on the authorization of a loan agreement and the issuance of notes to evidence the obligation to the county thereunder. So with that, I would open the public hearing. Seeing no public comment, I would move that the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Motion by Nelson, seconded by Dietrich. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Passes 4-0. Item B is approval of resolution instituting proceedings to take additional action. And I would move that.
Second.
Motion by Nelson, seconded by Dietrich. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Passes 4-0. Well, we're 2 minutes ahead, but we'll just jump to it. Not to exceed $319,300 in general obligation capital loan notes. Ryan, do you want anything that we need to add to this?
Yeah, the first one, and the reason why it's a total of 1.2 million for all three of these combined. But for the purposes of what they were being borrowed for, we had to do three separate, hearings and resolutions. And the first one was for the demolition of the jail. This one is for the elevator and WCICC technical items. And then the last one was for the Little Sioux Road Park. And that's why there's three different ones. But the overall total was 1.2 million.
Thank you. So item C is a public hearing on the authorization of a loan agreement and the issuance of notes to evidence the obligation of the county thereunder, and I would open the public hearing.
I think we already closed that one, didn't we?
No, this is.
For C.
Oh. Yeah, we did.
Yep. So now we're on to D.
No, that was, item A was the first hearing, just item C. We did the first one on the 640,000, now we're on the 319,300.
Okay. Sorry.
Don't all get up at once. Seeing no public comment, I move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Motion by Nelson, seconded by Dietrich. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Pass 4-0. Item D is approval of a resolution instituting proceedings to take additional action. And I would move that.
Second.
Motion by Nelson, seconded by Dietrich. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Passes 4-0. All right, we got another 5 minutes till our next set time, so we will jump back to wage plan adjustments. We were discussing, currently it's plugged in the budget at 2%, last year was 3%, CPI is a little under 3. So that's, was the last of our discussion.
And for the purpose of the maximum. It is the tax rates and the tax dollars that will be required on the mailing. We have to have a separate public hearing for the, proposed budget itself. And that's when I think the final amounts for, the percentages can be determined.
I think they're always determined beforehand. What were the last 3 years of wage plan adjustments?
The only one I know off the top of my head is last year was 3%.
I don't believe they've been, in the time that I've been on the board, Matthew, I don't believe they've been under 2. But I don't know that they've been over 4 either, so I think it's been 2 or 3% each time.
Yeah, there was a 4%, it might have been the year before you.
Okay.
I can tell you, and I think Matthew probably recalls, we always used to budget at the highest rate, and then it would be cut lower. So in the past, we've plugged in 4% and it's been cut, or we plugged in different percents and then it's been cut throughout the budget process. So in general, we've not generally started low and went up. But I think this is the time that you should, if you're going to get it in that max mailing. In the past also, prior to last year, there used to be a publication and a max levy that had to be presented, and last year that ended. I think it was 2 years ago that we used to have to do that, and I think that was a different publication, but do you recall last year we didn't have to do that, correct? Okay.
Well, I would move to receive with a 3% wage increase. A change from 2%.
I'll second.
Motion by Dietrich, or motion by Nelson, seconded by Dietrich. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Passes 4-0. All right, now we'll skip back to our 4:55 set time. This is for the Little Sioux Park Road, not to exceed $240,700 of general obligation capital loan notes. Item E is a public hearing on the authorization of a loan agreement and the issuance of notes to evidence the obligation of the county thereunder. And so I would move, or I would open the public hearing for anybody to speak for or against this. Yeah. Seeing no comment, I would move the public hearing be closed.
Second.
Motion by Nelson, seconded by Dietrich. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Pass 4-0. Item F is approval of resolution instituting proceedings to take additional action. I would move that.
Second.
Motion by Nelson, seconded by Dietrich. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Passes 4-0. Item G is approval of resolution directing the acceptance of a proposal to purchase $1.2 million of general obligation capital loan notes, Series 2026A. Ryan, would you just talk quickly about the term and interest rates on these?
Yeah, Tina Bertrand, the treasurer, sent out bids to local banks and several responded, and Security National Bank came with the lowest bid at 4.2%. However, with discussions with bond counsel and Nate Summers of UMB Bank, there was a concern with legislation that's currently in the legislature at Iowa that could potentially limit borrowing for the counties. And so there's a $10 million threshold for bank qualified notes that can be borrowed in a year. And if they make changes, it could jeopardize the financing of the interchange project. It may be, the best to borrow that entire amount prior to July 1st. So with that, we determined that it would be better to do a non-bank qualified, and that actually had a little bit higher interest rate. And so Tina contacted Security National Bank and they changed it to the 4.45%. And that's why we felt it was in the best interest to make sure if anything, worst case scenario happened, we would still be able to use the 10 million on
The interchange.
the interchange project. And so, but Security National still had the lowest percentage rate, and the term is for 4-year rather than 5-year, because the ultimate goal is to try to get away from the 5-year cycle that we're currently using for borrowing CIP. So that's why this one is a $1.2 million 4-year term, and the interest rate is non-bank qualified, which, as I said, just allows the banks to give a better interest rate.
And I won't be on my soapbox very long here, but I hope people see how challenging it is for us to try to do our job when you've got legislation moving around in Des Moines that is constantly moving the goalposts, so to speak, for us trying to conduct our work. I mean, this interchange is a huge, huge project that's going to benefit Woodbury County, and we have to be able to pay for it. But, so you watch, they won't end up changing the legislation, and we'll be out, 0.3% that we could have saved taxpayers, but because they're just constantly diddling in what we're doing, we have to be uber conservative, and it's really frustrating. And I'm not mad at you, Ryan. I'm just saying it's really frustrating, And you spent a lot of time going through all this with our council and UMB Bank, and thank goodness that you did, because now if we had taken this low interest and if they passed this legislation, we could be in a total mess,
Because it'd be a lot worse scenario if they do pass this legislation and we had passed, we had issued issued bank qualified notes.
And thanks for your help on that, Tina, too. Much appreciated. So, and hopefully folks appreciate that we're, like you said, going from that 5-year note to 4, save interest. And, one thing I look back on the projects that we've done, they've not been extras. They've not been fluff. I mean, it's been stuff that we drastically needed, fixes to buildings, that sort of thing, repairs.
Yeah, and we've already identified and started some of the projects, so.
Yep.
I know there's been discussions in the years past, we've discussed fiscal 27 CIP, but we haven't actually sent out to the departments and offices their requests. So this is for fiscal 26 projects, which as stated was the demolition of the jail, the Little Sioux Park Road, and then the elevator and technology improvements.
Yeah. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Tina. Appreciate it.
Actually, one more, and Tina came up with the suggestion of, to save additional in years past, there was one principal payment in June. So this year, we asked them to do a principal payment in December as well as June, so we could pay down and save a little interest that way as well, because we do receive the debt service levy in September and March, so instead of holding on to the money, that we can pay down principal earlier.
Tina?
Good evening, Tina Bertrand, Woodbury County Treasurer. Yeah, Ryan and I did have a lot of discussions in terms of when we're making the payments, because like you said, we do collect 50%, sometimes more, in debt service in September. And we're not collecting enough money on interest if we're paying it out in interest. So it was kind of having that balance to say, well, we're not earning enough money on interest, let's get it paid down and save on the interest expense that we're incurring.
Sure.
So that was kind of the philosophy that we had. So this year is a different approach.
Thank you. Well, I would move approval.
Second.
Motion by Nelson, seconded by Dietrich. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Passes 4-0. And item 5 is approval of resolution authorizing the issuance of 1.2 million taxable general obligation capital loan notes series 2026A and levying a tax for the payment thereof. And I would move it.
Second.
Motion by Nelson, seconded by Dietrich. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Passes 4-0. All right, back to Mr. Erickson's budget review. Item B, debt service fund.
Yeah, the last item to be received is the debt service fund. And this is the collection of the debt service levy, and the levy's based off of the principal and interest payments. And what Karen has up there right now is the long-term schedule showing our current debt, which has some capital CIP loans from 2017 and then the last 5 years. Then there's the gravel road project and the LEC authority. And it shows you the principal payments going out to fiscal 41. The next few sheets on it is each particular issuance with the principal and interest by year. And then the last note on the sheet is the current one that we just approved tonight. One sheet before that, Karen. And it shows the fiscal year 26 note at the 4.45% interest with the 300,000 and, principal payments per year and the interest per year. That is, when all these are put together, on the next couple sheets, it'll show you how the debt service levy was generated. The first item was the LEC rent and then the interest and principal related to the LEC debt. The next item is the interest related to all the other notes. And you can see last year was 407,000. With the new note this year, it is now 370,000. Major reason for the decrease is, as you're paying down like the secondary roads, gravel road project, there's less principal, so each year there's less interest. And the next page shows the principal payments for each of the different capital loan notes and the gravel road project. You see, there was one that was paid off in full last year, but now we have that was 360,000, but now we have 300,000 for the new note. So the total of those all added together is what the debt service levy will cover. Actually, it'll be go ahead and click that one, Karen. Yeah. There is $80,000 that is a rent from District Health that goes in and lowers the debt service levy. Yeah. So in order to pay all the interest and the principal minus, there's $12,000 that Tina will invest that comes in as interest income. The county needs to levy for about $5,424,000 worth of interest and principal payments. And then the last page here shows the transfers into the debt service fund, which includes 300,000 from secondary roads, the 400,000 from gaming, 300,000 from lost, and then 787,000 that is generated from the TIF, which covers the gravel road project. So that's the debt service fund.
Thank you, Ryan. Any questions for Ryan regarding debt service? I move to receive.
Second.
Motion by Nelson, seconded by Dietrich. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Passes 4-0. Item C is a miscellaneous review of all funds.
And the next two sheets I have are showing where the max levy was before the meeting this evening, and I will need to make adjustments to this as the wage plan was approved at 3% rather than 2%, so that will not increase the revenue on the general basic because we are already at its max. But general sup, we will be able to increase the max to reflect the increase in the expenditures out of that fund. But this, as of right now, or as of before that change, this is what the max levy would be, which would be an increase countywide of about 2.7%, and the rural basic would go up 67%. Because we are no longer, the max for the rural basic is 3.95, and the current rate is about 2.4. And then the next sheet is based off of what the debt service levy rate needs to be. The general basic is maxed at 3.706. General supplement was adjusted to make the county-wide not change from the 7.1118. And if that happened, this is what the impact would be on the county level budget.
One of the things I've asked Ryan to add to this budget sheet, and I appreciate you doing that, is that we added a date. If you see as of February 24, 2026, it gets, as we, receive these every single week, it gets hard. I had a stack like 6 or 7 of these on my desk, and it was kind of, I guess, test my knowledge, sorting through which, my memory, but now we'll be able to follow along much better. So thank you for doing that for me, Ryan. I appreciate it.
Could you calculate, doesn't have to be now necessarily, but what dollar amount is represented by moving the reserves to a 20% level? So in this case, down exactly 4%.
Yeah, I can calculate that and bring that to the meeting next week.
Thank you. I mean, we're on the hook for $616,050 plus a little bit of an increase from today in general basic, as far as reserves covering that.
Yes.
Like, that's unavoidable at this point.
Yes, at this point. The
So,
only thing, one thing, you could lower the transfer from general sup to general basic, but that just, doesn't really change, it'd make general basic look better, but then general sup would be worse.
So would you in turn want to see, if you're gonna lower the general basic one, would you want to see a little increase in the general sup to get that off the negative? To
you're
keep it
talking
the-
about the reserves?
Yeah,
Oh,
or is that,
what is the, I mean, we haven't relied too much on rural basic reserves because it's not much. But what does it mean to have the general supplemental reserve level be negative?
I think that's a good question, yeah.
Off the top of my head, I'll look into that.
Okay.
Michelle, aren't those funds connected as far as the,
Yeah, I
Reserves?
mean, I think that what you can look at is your general basic percent, because you have that $7 million of benefits that we move from general basic to general sup. So if you change that amount and lower the amount that you transfer, I think if you just set what you want for your end reserve balance on general basic and make sure general sup is not negative, then I think that that's kind of the mindset. Maybe you need to decide what do you want your end reserves to be, and then decide if you're gonna dip into that.
yeah. Okay, thank you, Michelle. Appreciate it. All right, any questions for Ryan or Michelle regarding where we sit currently with the budget and the levy rates? Because the next item would be to approve max county rates, which I think probably fine with, but if there's anything we want to change, we could do that.
I would suggest tabling it so I could calculate what the impact of
Table item D.
yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Assuming with that, we can approve it next week and Michelle still will be able to get it out. Is that okay with you?
You need to have it to the tax proposed status by the 5th, so at 4:00 PM, that's the deadline. So as long as the data is in there and ready to go by the 5th, I pull the data on the 6th, which is Friday. So the next meeting, unless you have a special meeting, is gonna be the last opportunity.
Okay.
And your max levy is your max levy, so if we have the ability to receive more tax dollars with a higher tax rate, but you don't want that to be your max, you can say, I'm gonna have it a lower rate, but you're not gonna be able to raise it after that point.
Yeah,
So, I mean, you don't have to publish in the flyer the maximum amount if you know that's not what you're going to
Sure.
end up with. But what you do publish is what you're stuck with, no matter what, for the amount of tax revenue that you're gonna receive.
okay.
And so Karen, can you go to the next page? This, I just wanted to show, I crossed off all the things to the right because last year, we would discuss what the max notice was and then what the publication, we haven't reached those stages yet, so that's why those were all crossed out. But this would show you what the tax revenue would be, 22,400,000 for general basic, 16,900,000 approximately for general sup on the rates that are below there, which everything will be the same, but general supplement will be a little bit higher due to the wage plan increase. And then, next week, you guys can determine what the maximum rates you want are.
All right, anything else for the good of the cause on that? All right, then we'll move on to item D. And our budget director would like us to table this at this time till next week.
Can we go back to C, that is an action item to,
I guess
I guess,
receive.
receive the review?
Okay, I will move to receive the review.
Second.
We did nothing, but you know, we better stick with protocol. Motion by Nelson, seconded by Dietrich. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Pass 4-0. Item D, I will move to table.
Second.
Motion by Nelson, table, second by Dietrich. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Passes 4-0. Item 10, reports on committee meetings. Kent, go ahead.
Okay. The first one was about the Woodbury County Zoning Commission, and we met on February 23rd. And this was a discussion over the conditional use permit for the city of Mobile. They have a water system improvement project, including a construction of a water treatment plant and 400-gallon water storage tower, which will be 70 feet tall. Also, 2 wells on parcel ending in 0024. The other item was from the Community Action Agency. And Community Action Agency is working with Woodbury County and Monona County, providing weatherization for homes. They've raised $36,927 through the Black Hills Energy and Mid-American Energy. And to qualify for this weatherization for your home, you must be able to qualify for LIHEAP, so it's for lower income. They've also raised $250,114 through a shared vision grant, which provided 32 slots for children to attend Irving Elementary.
Dave, you have anything? Matthew, anything? Last night I got to go to the Woodbury County Fair Board meeting, their monthly meeting. They're doing it's for the first time, they're having a fundraiser event in Anthon on March 7th that you can buy tickets to, and it's going to be an auction. And they're going to announce that night a special capital improvement project that they're going to be trying to get done at the fairgrounds in the next year to year and a half. And so they invited the board out to talk about, they're going to have to do some zoning and that kind of stuff, or they invited me out to talk about some zoning issues and things of that nature. But it's a credible project, and they were very appreciative of the support that the board has given the fairgrounds. We've given them, funding from local option sales tax for many years, and they appreciate the board that we come out and we pay attention and that we understand what the fair provides to all the residents of Woodbury County. And so I hope that people will take the opportunity to, go to that event in Anthon on Saturday night, the 7th. And if they can, I hope that they follow along with the announcement that they're going to have. It's an incredible thing, and it would be an incredible thing for Woodbury County. It's been something that's been in the works for many, many years. And I hope that as a board, we'll be prepared to try to help them out along the way and continue to make Woodbury County a special place to live. Moving on to item 11, citizen concerns.
Mr. Chair, I just want to correct what I said a little while ago about that max notice. The board is going to have another public hearing that has those figures in that are on the notice, and that is the date and the time that's listed on the notice. And then the final meeting is the adopting, which is usually towards the end of April. So just wanted to correct what I had said, because it's kind of all interlinked with this first meeting is going to be what's on the House File 718 mailing that we mail out. And that's going to have to be published, I think it's 10 to 20 days before the hearing for that. And then there'll be the final hearing at the end of April.
And that has to be a special meeting, not scheduled during the board meeting, correct?
Exactly,
Okay.
yes.
Special, separate.
Yes, it is. It is a special meeting. Yeah. All right, seeing no other citizen concerns. Board concerns. Kent? Dave? Matthew? We do have a conference board. Budget hearing is tonight at 6. Any one of you, can you go, Matthew? Dave, Kent? I think we need 2 to go. It's at 6. Tonight. So it's upstairs, 8th floor. You guys are gonna have, I can go, but you other 3 are gonna have to fight over it, so. Okay, Dave's gonna go, so you're off the hook. I'd like to pass along from secondary roads that the Iowa DOT will start construction on US Highway 20 between Mobile and Lawton on March 30th. The traffic is all going to be diverted to, I believe, the south lane, so it'd be the eastbound lanes. It'll be divided traffic. They're going to be tearing the lanes completely up on the north side. And our engineer, Laura Severs, has informed me that they are working with our emergency services and our volunteer departments in that area, as well with law enforcement, to make sure that they know about the road changing and any detours or anything of that nature. So we appreciate that very much. I believe that is all that I have. So if there's nothing else for the good of the cause, we are adjourned.